Good morning, everyone. Welcome you all to the entrepreneurship session, that is the module number 3. In the previous lecture videos, we discussed about the social responsibility of corporate, social responsibility of an entrepreneur who is going to establish a business in the community, who is going to establish a business in an area, and how they should be connected and what are the responsibilities, social responsibilities towards different groups. And in this session, we are going to discuss about what is entrepreneurship, what is the meaning, and what is exactly the concept of entrepreneurship, how it got evolved, and what is the importance of entrepreneurship. So the characteristics of the entrepreneurship, and then the types of the entrepreneurship, and also who are called as entrepreneurs. Now, once the entrepreneurs are known, then what is the role of an entrepreneur to build the economy of the nation? And what is their contribution to build the economic levels? And what are the barriers of entrepreneurship? What is exactly going to stop anybody from becoming an entrepreneur? And what are the myths around the entrepreneurship and then about an entrepreneur? Now, what are the problems that are faced by the entrepreneur and how to build the capacity of to make the entrepreneurship as a strong entrepreneurship? And what are the stages of entrepreneurial process, how exactly it follows from the idea conception to the realization into the market? These are there are different types of entrepreneurship development models which we are going to discuss in this lecture series. Let's start from one by one. Let's understand what is entrepreneurship, understand the definition of an entrepreneur. The management thinkers define the entrepreneurs in many ways. Some of the most important entrepreneur definitions by Joseph Schumpeter and Peter Drucker are: Joseph Schumpeter said that an entrepreneur in any given economy is an individual who introduces something new in the economy. And Peter Drucker, in lines with this, he said, and he defined an entrepreneur as: an entrepreneur is the one who always searches for the change, responds to it, and explain it as an opportunity. So both are very, very relevant definitions given by the management thinkers, and entrepreneurship always revolves around the location or identification of an entrepreneurship opportunity. Let's understand what is the meaning and how the concept got evolved. First, the entrepreneur is a person or a subject. It is a person, subject is going to be the matter, and entrepreneur establishes a firm or establishes his own business. That becomes the entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship basically is a process or action, and enterprise is the one which is started by an entrepreneur, and this is the outcome of an entrepreneurship or outcome of anybody who conceived the idea and they are going to establish a business. So this is an object. Enterprise is an enterprise, or enterprise is an object. Entrepreneurship is a verb because it is a process or action, and entrepreneur is a person or subject. So the concept of entrepreneurship is well explained by this image, where number of opportunities are located and one good idea has been selected by an entrepreneur, by a person who becomes an entrepreneur, who established an enterprise, and he will be into the venture of entrepreneurship. So let's understand what is the concept of entrepreneurship. Views on the entrepreneurship basically revolves around the risk-bearing capacity of a person, innovations that a person does, and it is also going to be a thrill-seeking journey, that is a roller coaster ride. So entrepreneurship is the attempt to create a venture, create a value through the recognition of the business opportunity, and managing the finances in a very well way, and material resources that are well in place, and that there should not be any kind of hindrance in supplying the materials, and locating the right amount of materials and material supply in the right time, and locating the quality material resources necessary to bring a project to the fruit. So an idea will become a fruit only when it completes the process of entrepreneurship. Higgins said that entrepreneurship is meant the function of seeking the investment and production opportunity, organizing an enterprise to undertake a new production process, raising the capital, hiring the labor, arranging the supply of raw materials continuously, and selecting the top manager. So that this completes the journey of an entrepreneur, and they are going to establish a concern or a business establishment. So what are the functions of entrepreneur? Functions of the entrepreneur is that right from the creation of selecting a best opportunity or an idea to the establishment of the enterprise, the functions of the entrepreneurs can be listed as a three. And the right from the idea generation to the selection of best idea. The second step or the second function of the entrepreneur is the determination of the business objectives. What are the objectives that the entrepreneur has to take, like a focus on? That is the goals of an enterprise. And third one is the product analysis and the market research, which is going to play a key role. And the fourth one is the determination of the form of ownership or the organization. And they have to decide, the entrepreneur has to decide whether it is going to be a partnership firm or whether it is going to be a small scale industry or a medium scale industry, or it is going to be the sole proprietorship firm, or it is going to attract the board of directors, or whatever the form of the organization the entrepreneur has to decide. And it is a function of the entrepreneur. The fifth most important function of the entrepreneur is the completion of the promotional formalities, the advertisements, and then the launching of the product. Everything has to be taken care. Next one is raising the necessary funds. So one has to see the financial statements, one has to see the capabilities, one has to see the withstanding capacity of the realization from the market. All this has to be taken care by the entrepreneur, and then the function of the entrepreneur is to see to it that the vision has to be there in terms of financial projections. Next one is raising of the necessary funds and then procuring the machine and the material. Once the funding is in place, then the entrepreneur will be able to see that what is the term loans or the what is the amount that is going to be that is going to be reflecting as the recurring funds or the non-recurring funds. So under the non-recurring funds, the machinery investments will come, and then the material investments will come in the recurring funds, that is recurring expenditures. So one has to see that how much money has to be kept aside for the material purchases, and then how much money has to be invested to procure the necessary machineries. Next, and the foremost important function after completing all this, the last level of the function is recruitment of the human resources. Right qualification, right number of people, and right size of the team has to be located, has to be formulated, and then it has to the company or the organization has to see to it that the right talents are recruited to carry out the objectives that is stated by the concern, or that is a vision which is taken as the vision of the entrepreneurship. So these are listed like a tree, and the organization resources goes with the leadership, and then the decision making will go with the organizer. Like this, we are going to see that risk bearing capabilities, and then all kind of like the development activities, market development, personal development, and the arrangement of resources, everything comes as the most important functions of entrepreneur. So let's understand the importance of entrepreneurship in various angles. Importance of entrepreneurship right from the building of the employment, like it is going to contribute in many ways. Think of a concern which is going to have a manager who is going to run a business, or who is going to be deployed as a top manager. His leadership qualities will be, in turn, it is going to be transformed into the managerial capabilities, and then he is going to be the leader who will be followed by many managers on the top post. So in turn, indirectly, they are going to build the managerial capabilities in the human resources they hire. So they are going to build another leader. So the importance of entrepreneurship also lies in the creation of organization. Many number of organizations are going to be created. In the successful journey, it is going to create a lot to the development of the nation. So it improves the standards of living, because if the competitors are there, then the pay hikes will be more, and then the kind of the salary packages the human resources are going to get is going to be at par with any other competitor. So once this pay packages are going to be high for the right talent, it is going to improve the standards of living. People will be able to afford to buy many things, so in turn it is going to make the people to feel like to feel, so they are having affordability to buy the buy the better things, and then to improve the standards of living. So it also means a lot of development in the, just a second. So it means a lot to the development of the economy of the nation, because once the standard of living of the public increases, then obviously the tax payments will increase, and then it means a lot to float many of the companies, and many of the products would be there, and then there will be innovations in the product where the competition will be created, and ultimately consumer will be benefited with the right product with the right price tag. So it means to say that a lot of buying power would come, and then the economic development of the nation would be resulted in it. And next goes with the characteristics of the entrepreneurship. What are the characteristics of the entrepreneurship? Innovation, business, knowledge, risk tolerance, team participation, and then the team development and the leadership, and the assertiveness is the one thing that the entrepreneur must have, and perseverance is another one which the entrepreneur must have. So the entrepreneur must have the assertiveness and then the perseverance. So characteristics of the entrepreneurship is that first one is the economic and the dynamic activity. It is a continuous process. It is the thinking of an entrepreneur to think about the business 24/7, 365, because they are investing the money, and in turn it is going to give the profits in all the senses, and then they have to be extremely careful about the changes that is happening in the market. And it is related to innovation. Once the innovation is in the process, then at no point of time they are going to go back, and then they will not be they have to launch the innovative products continuously in the market, and they have to be on the move in terms of innovation to have a segment that is created for their own products. So the profit potential of the product, innovated product, has to be taken care, and then they have to see to it that which kind of consumers are going to be entertaining this kind of products. So the market research is very, very essential in order to see the profit potential of the product, and risk bearing capabilities of an entrepreneur, that it has to be well in place, because risk bearing potential is the only one which is going to help the entrepreneurship creation in the nation, and entrepreneur is created with the attribute to the risk bearing capabilities. With this we are going to conclude this lecture video, and then see you all in the next lecture video on the types of entrepreneurship. Thank you everyone.